On your next trip here to Rottnest, before you go hitting the pub or the beach or framing up a quokka selfie, why not take some time to enjoy the ancient tradition of sharing the stories of Wadjemup? Passed down from generation to generation, the stories shared by Noongar man Walter Maguire on his guided tour date back thousands of years. After meeting up at the Visitors Centre, our tour and the storytelling starts as Walter welcomes us to country.
Yarnba. Kaya nuno ka yaki nicha Carmen nicha ngalaka buja wajak nyonga bibum. Kura ngalaka deman maman and marmanin mun balapayak. Welcomes to country are very important because it brings people together and acknowledges the traditional owners of the land.
Next, Walter performs a traditional Aboriginal sand and water ceremony, and I learn it's one of the ways in which Noongar people say hello to the country.
When you've taken what we say, nonoka barang ngal nonoka, in other words, when you've taken the sweat of your underarm pit, that's like your code, your identification as a person in the spirit. Then you're actually gently passing it off into the water and then washing your hands. So you're connecting, and that the Great Spirit knows you're here. The significance of the water ceremony is allowing your safety and well-being on country. You're actually carrying an old practice, cultural practice from a long time. As elders, it's your responsibility to teach the young, sons and daughters, nieces and nephews, other people from other cultures and people that want to get to know.
The tour also exposes the more recent and controversial history of Wadjemup.
The Aboriginal establishment here on Rottnest Island was a place where the Aboriginal men were taken away from their countries across Western Australia. 4,000 men came across here, men as young as 8 years of age. Men were used as a labour force to build what we have behind us, the holding cell. We have a sea wall here that stretches a couple hundred metres. There are the residents up here, that's the superintendent's residence, and other buildings here, the lighthouse too as well. So there are many buildings here that the Aboriginal prisoners have built.
The biggest story of Wadjemup extends much, much further back to the Dreamtime. Walter, what can you tell me of the first stories of Wadjemup?
The first story takes you back to a time we called Kura Nyeti. And in that Dreamtime, the story of Wadjemup was part of the bigger story we called Bidjiguradup. So Bidjiguradup was the greater island where the old people walked across from where the mainland we see today. So this was all land in front of us. And so the old people would walk across here. They also lived and hunted and celebrated life. Culture, ceremonies, stories, far and wide.
One of Walter's policies on his tours is that there are no bad questions. He starts a conversation and shares his stories with you in a very generous, warm and humorous way at times too. I can honestly say I've taken away so much from this experience. I feel a whole lot more connected to the island than I've ever done before. Now, here's a tip. If you'd like to round out your own Wadjemup experience with a traditional smoking ceremony, book the longer tour. You won't regret it.